Hello everybody, my Cuban adventure has come to an end, and to be honest, I'm glad to get out of there. I even thought it was fun. So, I have a long way ahead of me. I'm flying to Aguascalientes with a transport in Mexico City. У нас получается мы
Алексей Дарита.
Here is the coveted green stamp. I never thought I'd end up here. Aguascalientes? I've never even heard of this place, but believe me, this city is full of surprises. Я заснула, вдруг смотрит, вылетел, нам задержали рейс на час.
Aguascalientes means hot waters. Why? Because there are natural thermal springs here. The Spanish settlers discovered them when they arrived here and decided to establish a city. Imagine a city built around warm, healing waters. Now I'm going to tell you a story that sounds like a plot from a romantic movie, but it's actually part of the story of Aguascalientes. In 1835, Antonio López de Santana, the formidable general and president of Mexico, had just suppressed an uprising in Zacatecas, another state of Mexico. He drives into Aguascalientes, and then an incredible thing happens. It is said that an influential woman from Aguascalientes, possessing a beauty and incredible charm, found a way to meet Santana alone. She was incredibly convincing. She talked about the desire of the people of Aguascalientes to separate from Zacatecas, about injustice, about the future. And Santana, as you know, was an impulsive man who fell before feminine charm. He was so charmed by this woman and her words that he not only agreed to her request, he sealed his decision with a kiss. Yeah, you heard it right. On May 23rd, 1835, Aguascalientes was declared an independent territory, separated from Zacatecas by personal order of Santa Anna. It was the first step towards becoming an independent state. That's how, thanks to the charm and determination of one woman, Aguascalientes got his freedom. But as it is often the case in history, there's also irony. The same man who gave Aguascalientes independence with a kiss later became president, under whom Mexico lost more than half of its territories.
That's for hot waters, the first part. And then the second one is because we're religious and special Virgin Mary. But the third one is we were part of another state. And when we wanted to be independent, a woman was in a house with the president and she kissed the president. And the president said, okay, you can be independent.
But here is a surprise, it wasn't just a small town, it became an important stop on the Silver Road, which connects the mines of Zacatecas with Mexico City. Merchants, travelers, and even bandits pastored here. It was like the Wild West of Mexico. I didn't expect this. Aguascalientes is a city of railways. At the end of the 19th century, it became the largest railway hub in Mexico. Thousands of workers repaired and built trains here, and this spirit has been preserved of this day. Мы погуляли, пришли на завтрак, потому что решили, что до обеда мы не дотянем. Мам, я не голодаю.
Привет.
Вот этот напиток называется руссо. Сода, лемон. То, что есть Алексис. Как это? Мид. Вот этот мид. Чичарро. Я вам показала наше сало со шкварками. Он сказал, что примерно то же самое. Almost every building in the historical center of Aguascalientes had its own history and its own architectural highlights. Walking through the street of Aguascalientes feels like you're entering another era.
Here you can see the traces of the Spanish colonial past, the influence of French culture, and Mexican identity. Aguascalientes is a city that combines the beauty of architecture and the magic of legends. Here you can not only admire the ancient buildings, but also touch the history and the culture of Mexico. Porque el Señor protege el
camino del justo y al malo sus caminos acaban por perder.
Dichoso el hombre que confía en el Señor.
Honor y gloria a ti, Señor Jesús.
There built the church, but he didn't know anything about constructing churches. So a guy with the name Douglas had this house here, and that was the official house. He had a lot of money. He got married in a church that's very close, and he wanted his wife to be like very good and very happy. So then when they got married, he built also something special because he wanted his wife to be like a princess. He wanted to make it happy. So when they got married, they went out of the church, and he constructed this, just a castle for her.
One of my favorite parts of the city is the historical center. It's small but incredibly atmospheric. The cathedral is stunning with beautiful colonial buildings all around, and in the evening the square comes to life with musicians, dancers and street performers. It's just magic.
But Aguascalientes is not just about history. Today, it is one of the most important industrial centers in Mexico. Did you know that there are 2 Nissan factories here? They produce cars for the whole world. How a small town has turned into a global manufacturing hub is simply incredible.
Мы проснулись в 7, сейчас 7:30, едем гулять по горам. Вообще, у меня ноги не ходят. Это когда в горах? Пошли. Очень русский. We are now at the foot of the Dead Man's Mountain, and believe me, this mountain has its own bloody history that gives you goosebumps.
We're going to be there. Right now we're going to...
Long ago, long before the arrival of the Spaniards, these lands were inhabited by ancient tribes, the Chichimecs, Chalks, and Nahuatls. They were constantly fighting for power, for territories, for resources. But one of them stood out, a Chichimeca priest. He was not just a leader, he was a wise counselor, a strong warrior, and a spiritual leader. He was revered and feared. One day, after a meeting of the chiefs, the priest decided to relax and swim in the hot springs, and disappeared. He just disappeared into thin air. No one knew what had happened to him. Kidnapped? Killed? What had happened? The Chichimecs immediately blamed the Chalks. A brutal war, a merciless war begun. Arrows whistled through the air, spears pierced through flesh. The ground was soaked in blood. The battle was so fierce that it seemed as if nature itself was shaking with terror. And so, in the middle of this carnage, a priest appears. He's alive. He tries to stop the madness, begs to stop the battle, but it's too late. A stray arrow pierces his chest. Mortally wounded, he trudges away, leaving a trail of blood in his wake, and falls dead. And here it is, the Dead Man's Mountain. It is said that it was at this place where the priest fell that his silhouette was forever imprinted in the ground, forming this mountain.
This is a creepy story of Dead Man's Mountain. It's a priest curse. Believe it or not, it's up to you. But I know for sure that this place makes you think about the price of war.
And how important it is to value peace.
But seriously, Aguascalientes is a beautiful city with a rich history and culture, and even creepy places like Dead Man's Mountain have their own special beauty. What do you think about this legend? Write in the comments. Please like and subscribe if you want more creepy stories from Mexico. See you soon!